I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
It is back. It is gone. Grand slam. Ryan O'Hearn. 4-0 San Diego. One swing of the bat.
And the Padres jump all over Zimmerman and the Brewers. It is 4-0. Just one out into their night.
My crystal ball says that's not good. I'm just saying, when our show leads off with a highlight from the Padres television broadcast of them hitting a grand slam in the bottom of the first against the Brewers. And then you turn on ESPN this morning, and that's the first highlight they show of the Brewers-Padres game. Not good! But I'm fine. Good morning, Wisconsin. Welcome in. What's up? Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I heard that little in the background there.
I keep thinking back to day one, bud, and remembering that Trevor. That was a very different Trevor. Day one to day three.
You know, it's just the realist. You're wearing off on me, Josh.
It's been 72 hours.
It's the power of the Albrecht. It
Apparently.
is what it is. Make sure to follow The Fan on Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. The website is thefanmilwaukee.com. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line is open for you, and we'd love to hear from you. 414-677-1250. Okay, let's jump into this. The Brewers last night, a late one in the West Coast city of San Diego.
Yes.
And our guy, Bruce Zimmerman, who we talked a bunch about yesterday and hasn't pitched in the majors since 2023, possibly showed us why last night. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying he's bad. He's a big league pitcher. But 7-0 is real. And so my first question right off the top, Tobias Myers came out of the bullpen in the 7th. Was he not a starter for the Brewers earlier this year, or is that me just misremembering?
No, I believe he did have a start. You're not misremembering that. I think that this answered your question yesterday of are the Brewers just taking their foot off the gas?
Bingo.
Because it was evident, hey, we're going to get you a few innings. We're going to get you some time on the mound, but we're putting Zimmerman out there to eat innings. That's why he's here.
Bingo.
Plain and simple.
I think that's exactly what's happening, and last night proved it. And I don't know how I feel about it now.
Exactly, yeah.
In Murphy, I trust, though. Like, I really do feel that way. I think that there's a plan that we don't know about. And I'm just going to keep repeating that in my mind, that we can trust the NL Manager of the Year, the NL Manager that took the Brewers to places the Brewers have never been in terms of the amount of wins in a row and back-to-back NL Central championships. There's a lot of good happening, even though it doesn't look like it right now.
You know, Twitter, which I can't call it X, Twitter is an amazing thing. And I want to read a few lines here. First, Todd Rosiak with a quote from Pat Murphy on Bruce Zimmerman last night said, "I know our fans probably don't watch it the same way I do, but he pitched 6 innings, and we all know the state of our bullpen and the pitching staff in general. I thought he did a tremendous job, and that's exactly what was needed tonight." All right, one half of my brain reads that and goes, fair point. Yes, bullpen's beat up, pitching rotations beat up. You had a guy come in, he got through 6 innings. That was big to give some guys some rest. Then you go down and you read a few people commenting on this tweet. And there's a gentleman named Tyler who said, "A pitcher giving up 6 runs is exactly what we needed. You could have just signed me to a day contract to give that for you." That's what the other half of my brain is thinking. There is got to be balance here between rest and keeping some type of mindset where it needs to be going into the postseason. I understand you need rest, but what was that last night?
So you said something interesting there, and it's about mindset. I don't have any evidence that the Brewers' mindset has changed. We're not in the locker room. I'm not. I know you're not. There may very well be a solid mindset, even though the outcome of the games and maybe the play on the field, we don't recognize right now like we have the rest of the season. And that's what my mindset is. I am telling myself everything's going to be okay because there's something going on that I don't know about. I also had this thought as we watched the Yankees celebrate their playoff berth last night. The Brewers did it what feels like years ago already.
Mm-hmm.
They were the first one in. They're still in the contention, in the lead for the number one overall seed in the MLB and obviously the NL. They won the Central. I mean, there are so many things to celebrate from this season. I don't know that we've ever been here before. Well, I know we haven't. So is that why we're all confuzzled? Because it all happens so early. Like usually we're in right till the end and we have a lot to play for and let's win the Central. And we've never talked about being the number one seed before. So is it that and that doesn't match what's going on in the field? I don't know.
I think it's a concoction of things. I think that's part of it. I think also just being hurt so many times in the past is part of it. It's not allowing us to just focus on the happiness and the celebration because we're so worried about, the heartbreak that is most likely coming. And I'm not saying that to be negative. It's just the fact of sports, right? Only one team can win the World Series. Well, and so even at this point, if you're sitting here going, if they get that number one seed, it's a World Series. Like, no, like it's all going to start over. And that's the way that sports works. Only one team can win the whole thing. So I think all of those things are kind of combining to put us in this mindset.
You have a very famous quote in your radio tenure of don't tell someone how to fan.
That's
don't
right.
Tell me
don't tell me how to fan. Don't do it.
So the hardest part is that Wisconsin sports fans in general kind of feel the way you just shared. There is only doom coming. It is impending doom as a Wisconsin sports fan.
I mean, honestly, that should be if you're a sports fan, like that's got to be in the back of your mind. If you're a realist, it doesn't against only one team can win at the end of the season, regardless of the sport. Only one team can win. You pray it's yours.
I just wonder if other sports fans feel this way, because I'm not saying Barry Alvarez was right when he called Wisconsin football fans spoiled rotten or whatever he said. But I do think that there is a series of years here where Wisconsin sports fans have had a lot to celebrate, and that's why the agony of defeat feels so bad. And that's why a 7-0 loss last night against a playoff team that we very well may play in the NLDS feels so bad.
I think it has a lot to do with the passion that Wisconsin sports fans have for their teams.
It's at a different level that we can agree with, right?
So because of that, that's why they're analyzing things. That's why they're having the conversations. That's why we get to have fun and do this in morning radio, because other people are out there having the same conversations that we are. They're analyzing with their friends at the bar going, well, maybe this isn't a bad thing. What if we fell to the 2? I don't want to play the Padres or the Cubs in the NLDS. Maybe that would be better than getting the 1 seed and having the home field advantage. Would just be figuring out which of the 2 teams we want to play, blah, 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 blah. All of those conversations are happening, in text chains and at the bars and everything else, and here on the Fan.
It's one of the things that we think about with the pitching staff, right? There's a whole bunch of conversation about should Miz go to the bullpen, which I think the majority of people would agree that that's the right move right now. Tell us if you don't. 414-677-1250. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. You can find us on YouTube as well, by the way, if you'd like to participate on the show in the comments there. And I don't know, look at the things that you're going to see on the YouTube.
Yeah.
A bald guy and a guy in a pink Brewers hat, which I dig. That logo, though, that MB Brewers logo, the worst logo.
The 90s,
ever.
not a big fan. Yeah.
Logo-wise, no. I was a fan of the Brewers in the 90s.
Yeah. No,
Who's the first Brewer you think about when you think the 90s and you can't say, like, the Robin Yount end of his career? First Brewer.
Okay, it's really funny because everyone's going to go Burnitz, but I always go John Jaha. I don't know why.
John Jaha.
I don't know why. Jaha for me. John Jaha. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Burnitz is top of mind for sure.
Burnitz
Richie
or
Sexton
Sheets.
played in the 90s too, right?
I think he was 2000, early 2000s. I'm not sure he was
right along the cusp.
90s. He might have made it late.
So I'm trying really hard not to completely freak out, and the Marlins helped that last night. They beat the Phillies. You just got a job in morning radio when you're watching the Brewers game that you're not going to see the end of. And there was a part of me that went, 4-0 in the bottom of the first, and then it was quickly, was it 6-0 next? Yep. I'm like, all right, maybe I can go to bed.
Yep.
But then the Marlins-Phillies games tied at 3 and goes into a rain delay. I'm like, come on. Can I just have one thing to watch to the final tonight? Didn't catch the end of that until this morning, but hey, we'll take it.
Yeah.
So help me understand this idea of the overall number one MLB and NL seed, right? The overall number one. Yesterday, I thought it was 2 games was the magic number.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone said it was 2.5, but I'm taking what I heard from Josh Mauer the day before, who said it was 2. We have the tiebreaker against the Phillies.
Yes.
What is the number?
I don't know. It's 1 or 2.
Thanks. Appreciate you narrowing it down.
And here's why I've given up, because I'm tired of us having other teams lose to get the magic numbers down.
Yeah, you are not a fan. Not that I'm telling you how to fan, but you were not a fan yesterday of not having the call, and it's trending that way again.
Right. I'm sick of this. Well, we backed into winning the division. We're backing into locking up the number 1 seed. I would like to win a game to eliminate magic numbers. Not
backing in is not as fun.
No. It's better than not backing in, right? But it's not as fun.
Who runs the Brewers Magic Number Twitter account? At Brewers Magic Num, N-U-M.
That's a good question.
Whoever it is, he took the week off. The Brewers made the playoffs and won the NL Central, and that guy hasn't tweeted since. So that is of zero help to us at the moment. Yeah.
Wiped his hands of it.
Talk to you next year.
Went on vacation.
Well, but we haven't had the reason to have this conversation in the past because it's not been something that we've ever chased before or been in contention for. Not that I recall, anyway.
So I know for sure that for the best record in the MLB period, it's down to the Brewers and the Phillies.
Yep, that I know.
Toronto is now out of the running for that title. Keep in mind that title wins you nothing. There's like being the top in the MLB, beating any other team in the MLB for that record means nothing. So being the number 1 in the AL still is going to get Toronto just as much as whoever ends up being the top in the NL. But
Adam McKelvey shared last night that the overall record is down to 2. The race for the best overall record is down to 2.
Okay.
So there you go. That. So here it's 2. Thank you to Sparky who just sent that to us via text.
Morning,
Clearly,
Sparky.
I did not see that at 10:54 last night. I was on McKelvey's Facebook/Twitter page this morning trying to figure out some stuff from the game last night. Did not see that. All right, so it's 2. The Brewers have the tiebreaker. That we knew. God, I don't like that. 2 with 5 to play, and the Phillies, I think, or 4 to play, and the Phillies have 5. Oh, this is. I am not well.
Okay, hold on.
I am not well.
Let me throw this curveball at you.
Well, here we go.
Would it be the worst thing if they didn't get the number 1 seed?
It wouldn't.
As things sit now, the last couple days on the show, you have brought up the fun little graphic of if the season ended today.
Oh, it's up on my side. Don't worry.
And here's the teams that would play, blah, blah, blah. I have talked to a lot of Brewers fans, and including yourself. And the number 1 answer to Who do you not want to play in the NLDS is the Chicago Cubs.
Yep.
If the Brewers are the 2 seed, they will not play the Cubs in the NLDS. They may play them in the NLCS, but not the NLDS. As it sits now, and I don't think it's possible, by the way, for like the Cubs to move to where they would play the 2 seed at some point. I think they are locked in to that 4 or 5 seed.
I think so too. I mean, I know LA is locked into the 3. Obviously, Phillies are in the 2, maybe the 1. The Padres are the 5 because the Dodgers are going to win that division. The Mets overtook the number 6 spot last night from the Reds, which was a crazy game. I feel like they scored 5 in 1 inning to bring it back. I saw something from Big Cat talking about the big Barstool Mets fan absolutely freaking out. And then all of a sudden,
Frank,
look what happened. Yeah, Big Frank.
But so I think all they're fighting for right now with the Padres and the Cubs is just who's getting that home field advantage in that series. I think with 4 or 5 games to go, that's all that's being decided there. The Brewers still have a chance to where they could be the 2 seed. I know it sounds bad to say that, but what is the true benefit besides having home field advantage the whole way?
Home field advantage is also a unique way of putting it. Games 1 and 2 in the NLDS will be in Milwaukee. 3 and 4, wherever we play, against whoever we play. And then game 5. I can't help but remember the 2008 NLCS. I was at game 1.
Yes.
And game 6 and game 7.
Yeah.
And I knew without knowing for sure that after game 6, it was going to be very difficult for us to win game 7. We had just come back. We're down 3-2 in the series, and Milwaukee was on fire for game 6. Miller Park was rocking. The Brewers played well, and it felt like we gave everything we got, Captain. And there was no gas left in the tank for game 7.
Sure.
To my memory, game 7 was not all that close. Have I told you what happened at the end of game 7 for me?
No.
I will never, ever see the Dodgers celebrating on our field. I could tell things were trending wrong, and then Clayton Kershaw came in, and I chose to not watch a celebration of another team on our field. And so as that was all going down, I could tell it was happening. I turned around and walked out. And to this day, knock on wood, I have not seen it in any highlight. But where I'm going with this is does home field advantage, is it really that much of an advantage? Because you don't want to play game 5 or game 7.
Sure. I mean, it's right. That's a very good point. And as we talked about this on the show yesterday, and now we know the answer of there's no reseeding. So you don't get that to where you get the home field advantage and to play the worst seed left in the tournament.
Yeah, I have questions about that. And luckily, that's our next segment here on Inside Wisconsin Sports. I have questions about why teams don't reseed, and I don't think I agree with the reasoning why. We will get to that next here on Inside Wisconsin Sports. Sparky takes the leadoff show and Wisconsin Sports Daily on the road today to Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa. Come hang out, watch the crew, have a chance to win tickets to see Adam Sandler on October 5th at the Fiserv Forum. That'd be cool. Yeah. Join Sparky this afternoon, starting at 2, live from Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I have questions. That's next. I have questions. You with me, brother? Okay. It's kind of like when my kids are super duper quiet for a while. I'm like, what you doing? Oh no, we're great. Yeah, I will, and we'll ruin it off the air. You're with you. I'm with you. Yeah, that was a great tease. That was a great tease. I have a goal to create some sort of I have questions bumper opener of some kind. Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you. And let me see if you have this same idea. Who's calling me right now? Sparky's calling me. Hang on. Hey man, what's up? Yeah, we're still alive. Nothing to worry about there. Alive and well. Here on Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht. Follow us on the Twitter at Trevor Thomas IW and at On Air Josh. We have some fun on there, man.
Yes, sir.
Been really an interesting few nights to live on the Twitter as the night closes and the Brewers are not closing the deal. To that note, I have questions, and that's what we call this segment here on Inside Wisconsin Sports every single day at this time, 6:25. I want to review some questions that I have about the sports from the day prior, including what it's all about with how the Major League Baseball higher-ups, how the suits choose the seating. So what's interesting is I was reassuring everybody in my life, oh, don't worry. We won't play the Padres or the Cubs because they reseed. They sure do not. So I finally looked this up last night. Here's what it says. The question is, are teams reseeded after the wild card series? The answer is nah. The number one seed will face the winner of the wild card series between the numbers 4 and 5 seeds, while the number 2 seed will face the winner of the 3 and 6 series. Pause. No other bracket in the history of brackets works that way. March Madness doesn't work that way. The NFL doesn't work that way. And it's all because Major League Baseball wanted more teams to get in the playoffs.
Yes.
This whole wild card thing screwed this up. So why does this happen? This ensures that the number one seed won't face another division winner in the division series round and still preserving the bracket system. Why does that matter? Why does preserving the bracket system matter?
Right. I understand the number one seed not having to play another division winner. But if you allowed for reseeding after the wild card round, then they still wouldn't have to play a division winner. They would play the lowest seed.
The Dodgers are the division winner.
Correct.
They just didn't get the bye. So if we ended up getting the 2 seed and flip to that bracket, we would play a division winner. So that's
what I'm saying, though. But not if they reseeded, not if they allowed reseeding.
I agree.
Essentially, the reseeding aspect of this just allows for if the division winner, who's the 3 seed, gets beat by the last wild card team that snuck in, they still don't have to. The award, the reward still goes to the number 1 seed. That's all that the reseeding part of this would be a factor in. That's all.
But per the conversation though that we had in the beginning of the show, the Brewers aren't probably considering this, but Brewers fans are. Okay, do we not want the number 1 seed? That's stupid. In all of sports, if a team is trying to strategically not have the number 1 overall seed, something is broken. Why can't it go by record?
I'm so broken.
I'm broken.
I am broken.
It just doesn't seem to make sense to me. And I mean, you look at this, which I love, by the way, MLB.com/postseason. I love the little bracket thing that they put out there. And here's the postseason picture if the postseason started today. And then as you scroll down, there's the remaining games, and they on other pages lay out who wins what tiebreaker and so on. It's just annoying that as Brewers fans, we go, man, first time ever. Look at us. The potential number 1 seed overall. What does that get you? Absolutely nothing other than home field advantage, which at that point, let's be honest, we try not to play 5 games in the NLDS. And we try not to play 6 or 7 games in the next 2 series. The fact that we have to play potentially the Cubs and or the Padres, which if you look at the standings in all of the other divisions, specifically in the NL, the records are the next best in baseball other than the Phillies.
Sure.
Which I understand because that's the teams that make the playoffs. But to have to play the team that you beat in your own division, which felt closer than it was, by the way.
Yes.
And that's part of the conversation of why do we not have the ability to just put all of our eggs in the Brewers basket? But then, do you want the Dodgers? Would you rather play the Dodgers in the NLDS than the Padres or the Cubs?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Here's the thing that makes it different, right? If this was the NFL, then I don't have a problem with this. The NFL doesn't do series, does 1 game. So it's a lot more difficult to label it as what's the hottest team in the NFL because it's week to week. It's a week-to-week league. And, 2 weeks ago, you could say it was the Packers. You wouldn't say that now, right? So the NFL is a little bit different. Baseball, and even basketball to some extent, but Major League Baseball is all about what team is the hottest team going into a series. And I think that's way more important than where the game's being played, what the record to finish the regular season was. It's all about who's hot right now. And so and I guess a lot of it ends up being luck, which is why I hate that whole statement of champions fear no one. God, I hate that so much because luck is a part of it. It just so happens that right now, I don't feel comfortable about the Padres or the Cubs. I don't like either of those teams, which is more on me just where I'm viewing this Brewers team than who the opponent would be.
So the other question I have in regards to the postseason is, as a Brewers fan, I have a lot of axes to grind. Do I want to knock the Cubs out of the playoffs? 100%. I don't really care about the Padres. This little series between them and the Brewers, whatever. I want the Dodgers to die. They have been...
If they die, they die.
They die. I don't like them. I hate that blue. I don't like that color blue at all.
Yeah.
And clearly, we owe one to the Mets from last year.
Sure.
Did I tell you I had to relive that when I went to AmFam Field for a spring break dinner with my family. I was on my way back from spring break in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We stopped at AmFam Field on the way back up to Green Bay. And we're testing the marquee, all of the signage in the stadium. And they still had that last at-bat sequence up on all of the marquee. Could someone not put the Lorem Ispum thing up there, maybe?
Just hit the reset.
Anything.
Yeah, Control-Alt-Delete.
I couldn't believe it when I walked in.
Jeez.
All right, so that was one of the main questions I have for the I Have Questions segment here on Inside Wisconsin Sports.
So I want to know your answer, though, your opinion on this. If you, and I know it's difficult because you're going to have the bias of the situation right now, but do you think that it should be reseeded after the wild card round?
Well, Nick in Greenfield on the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line makes a good point. He says, Trevor, I love you, but I'm confused by your argument. Does any league other than the NFL actually reseed? It seems like the only solution to your gripe is to let the highest seed choose who they play. To be honest, I'm not sure what my gripe is. And if I had to narrow it down, though, it's that we are, as Brewers fans, strategically thinking if we want the 1 seed or not. And the fact that that's crept into our head tells me something's broken.
Mm-hmm.
Because every team should want the number 1 seed no matter what the outcome of getting the number 1 seed is. So if the Cubs were the 6th seed and that's who we were likely going to play in the NLDS, cool. Because that means they're not nearly as good as this 4 seed.
Oh, see, here's where we disagree. I think that's what it all comes down to. I think that's why we care about this argument right now. I think that it all comes back to the fact that we're not on a high right now as Brewers fans, and we know that there's a potential that we have to play the Cubs. If the Cubs were the 3 or the 6 seed right now, I don't think anyone is saying, well, maybe it wouldn't be a bad thing if we fell to the 2. I think it is purely we all want the Cubs out. We wish they weren't even in the picture, and we absolutely hate the idea of having to play them in the NLDS, not because we're scared of them per se, but because the thought of them coming to American Family Field or, God forbid, beating us in the NLDS is such an awful thought that we're like, they should have reseeding. They should have reseeding so that the number 1 seed, it's all because the Cubs are there. You take out the Cubs, I don't even think we're talking about it.
Okay, so that's where all of my angst comes from?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I believe. At least that's where mine is.
Are you going to bill me for this therapy session?
I have been. Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, since Monday. Yep.
Glad you don't have my address.
Yep.
All right, I can get behind that. So my issue is the Cubs. That's why I care about the reseeding.
Because you already said you don't care about the Padres. Padres or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's because they're not the lowest seed. My initial angst is if the Brewers do retain the number 1 seed in Major League Baseball overall, and hypothetically, the number 6 seed beats the 3 seed in the top of that bracket, why wouldn't the Brewers have the right to play the lowest seed? That's where my mind is. And then you look at the bracket and go,
Right. I think it's a fair question that you're putting out there on this I Have Questions Wednesday, but I don't think you care as much about the answer
if the Cubs
aren't in the running.
Yeah, you might be right, because obviously that's just the situation at hand. And when you look at the bracket, it doesn't. Here's the worst part. This is what I'm about to say out loud. It doesn't look good either way. And that's jacked. The Brewers have done everything we've asked them to do.
That's not true. I ask a lot.
Okay. What else could you have possibly wanted other than
I've been moving the goalposts for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, ever since they went on that heater, that memorable who will forget anytime soon heater, I was like, holy crap, this team could get to 100 wins. Hell yeah, let's do it. Let's get to 100. Okay, let's at least make sure that we set the new record. Let's get to 97. Huh? New franchise record for wins. That'd be good. Now I'm sitting here like, can we at least get one more win? this season before the season's over? I know we're resting guys, and what can we at least get to 96 and tie the record? Can we get one more? I'm moving that goalpost a lot.
So here's the question. I have questions. If this was reversed and the Packers were in this situation at the end of the season and they went into the last few games already locked up number one seed, already locked up home field advantage, won the division, there's no way they can lose it other than like if really the big time wheels fell off. And they choose to rest and they lose their final two. But they have the bye. Do you feel this way?
I feel like that's a question that is more easy to answer because the Packers have been there. The Packers in the last 10 years have had seasons where they've locked up the North early enough to where we have the argument of, well, I obviously you don't want someone to get injured. Yeah, but you also don't want players to sit for 3 weeks before the next game. That is a classic Packers radio show question.
Well, it's the same thing for the preseason, too. When we come out
Correct.
and potentially lay an egg of the players or starters that didn't play in the preseason. Oh,
Yep.
That would have been good.
Rust
Maybe,
versus rest. Yeah.
Play football. Maybe that would have helped. Jason from Kenosha on the Nicolay Law fan talking text line.
Hi, Jason.
Great point. And this is where my angst all is. And it started when I started noticing that we could play the Cubs in the NLDS. Jason says, I'm with Josh on this. Cubs, bad. Do not want Fibs at AmFam. Would be wonderful to beat them, but would be way too painful to endure.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth. That's how I think we started this conversation on Monday. I don't want the Cubs at AmFam.
Yep.
Because
it all comes down to that.
Well, but I do believe that home field advantage matters, specifically in the MLB playoffs, because you get more than one game. So to think that there's going to be a completely different shade of blue potentially at AmFam Field, they're too close. We have too big of a rivalry. We hate them too much.
Mm-hmm.
They would totally get in Brewers fans' heads.
And it's way more than just, cheeks in the seats, too. It's just the being a Brewers fan. Listen, I've done shows and talked with people that do radio shows here in Milwaukee that don't think like a fan. They think like a radio show host or a broadcaster. And they have completely different mentalities of, no, you want to beat the Cubs. Think about how amazing that would feel. That's that optimistic cup half full. That definitely does not apply to me when it comes to the Cubs. I don't want the Cubs to even have the argument of being here. I prefer that they got knocked out and they had to sit at home and watch. I don't want to be the one to knock them out. I want them to not even be in the picture. Get them out. I'm praying that if things stay the same, that the Padres take care of business.
Truth. Based on how they're playing the Brewers, I think that's plausible. One more from Randy in Greendale on the Nicolay Law fan talking text line. Here's what he says. The worst thing possible would be to lose to the Cubs, but with our injuries to our pitching staff, we're not the same team we were in August. I remember thinking all we got is starters now, and I'm under the realization that game 3 will be a bullpen game. It's the Cubs. All right. I'm glad we had this talk.
You're welcome.
I'm glad we asked these questions because now I know where my angst about the seating comes from, and it's those godforsaken little bears from the South.
Yep.
Green Bay Press-Gazette Packers beat writer Ryan Wood will give his thoughts on the depleted Packers offensive line when he joins 9 to noon with Kuhn later this morning at 10 on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. The most electrifying sound of the day. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome back inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Get with us on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. You can also join us on Twitter, at Trevor Thomas IW on X, and at On Air Josh on X. It doesn't seem right, does it? X. I don't get it.
That's why it's Twitter.
Move the name back. He put that out there a while ago, Elon.
Yeah.
He said, should I just rename it Twitter? Yeah. Yep.
You should have.
You should. All right. This is a fun segment. I love it. Here is the most electrifying sound of the day.
Little dribbler. Simpson's got it. Spins, fires. Ball game over. 7 in a row, and the Marlins are now 77-80. Their playoff hopes remain alive here in South Philadelphia with an 11-inning, 6-5 victory over the Phillies.
Is it too much to ask the week of a brand new morning show that we have an electrifying sound of the day from, I don't know, our own announcer?
That would be nice. I'm waiting for that electrifying sound.
We are backing into this thing. That hurts more and more.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Although I do have to say, and I know you were asleep, I stayed up. I don't know why, but I stayed up to watch the end of that Marlins-Phillies game, and it was exciting. It was an exciting finish. How, the Marlins tied going into the top of the 10th. They go up 5-3. Usually in extra innings, if you go up by 2, that's huge. And then the Phillies come right back. Marlins ended up walking Schwarber, and then there was a pinch runner for them. They were like, oh, I'm not sure if that was a good decision. They end up giving up the 2 runs right back, make it 5-5. And then in the 11th, Marlins take care of business, 6-5. And that's how we got to the point today where we found out that the magic number for the Brewers is 2.
Dos. So be it. Let's just finish this thing out. So a day game today at San Diego, then home for the weekend against the Reds, which, by the way, if you looked at the schedule earlier in the year, you're like, oh, all right. We got the Reds for the last 3 games. Everything's going to be fine. Like, at least we can finish this season against the Reds.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, about that. They're hotter than the Brewers right now. Who's not? Like, every team that is in playoff contention is currently hotter than the Brewers.
I hate it so much. 262 did text and say the Dodgers and Padres are the only playoff teams with winning records in the last 10 games that are in the on the NL bracket side right now.
I wish that made me feel better.
It does, because you look at those other teams that are struggling and you still think they're doing better than Milwaukee is right now. I know.
It's a gut thing.
The vibes, man. It's about the vibes.
It's kind of like managing with the analytics versus managing certain situations with your gut. My gut says I would really like to win 4 out of the next 4. That would be wonderful.
That would be great.
If we could go in with anything remotely close to something that smells like confidence and positivity, that's another reason why I'm so angsty over here. Positive Pete, not so positive right now, and this is a space that I hate living. And I hate that I also just called myself Positive Pete. You did that, not me. It's dumb. And well, whoever came up with that yesterday, it was spot on. I mean, they're not wrong. I'd like to take the positive lane. You know what's not positive right now is the fans in Dallas. And I cannot wait to dive into some of this Packers conversation leading up to this game in Dallas on Sunday night, which I will be there with bells on. After I delivered the thank you card to Jerry Jones, we're actually going to hear from him a little bit in the next segment in the 7 o'clock hour. The morning mind dump is coming up next. I've got some things to mind dump this morning. I know you do too, and I hope you out there do as well. So get them in now. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. The morning mind dump. We're going to do it every day. The coffee has kicked in. We're feeling better. Right now, Josh, I don't feel like I need a nap today at all. I didn't take one yesterday. I felt really good. I even went for a walk with my wife at the end of the day yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. She's a wonderful person.
Good for you.
It's amazing to spend time with her.
Yeah.
That's a great joke, by the way. There's a guy that lives in the woods with his wife, has power and, tablets and phones and TVs and all the things. And he says, we lost power last night and I couldn't look at my phone, recharge my tablet, watch TV. I sat with my wife. She's a really nice person.
It's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I did yesterday?
What'd you do?
I threw a Frisbee with
To
my
who?
8-year-old.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, shoulder's a little
Is it?
sore. My God.
Yeah. You're not
It
even
was
40 yet,
It
buddy.
was a Frisbee.
I can tell you right now, people that are in their 30s will hear people in their 40s say, dude, when you hit 40, things change.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, I felt that way. I'm like, whatever. 40. Why? Why does it change at 40? I don't know why, but I can tell you things changed at 40.
No, I think they're starting to change now.
Do you know anybody that is now living without back pain that started with back pain? Like, have you ever heard a success story of going, yeah, I had back pain for years and I don't have it anymore?
Only people that get like reduction,
Well, does that work? I would like to talk to those people because I have questions. I don't know what is in the lower right part of my back, but it is pissed every day. It has nothing to do with carrying 285 and being 6'8". I'm certain of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably
I don't know yet.
I don't know yet. All right, get him in. The morning mind dump is coming up next here on The Fan with an all-new lineup, and it's awesome. 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. That's us. Good morning to you.
Hello.
9 to noon with Kuhn. 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. Noon to 2, the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis, presented by Verizon. 2P to 5P, Wisconsin Sports Daily. That's Sparky, served up by Wendy's. And then 5 to 6, the Fan Postgame Show with Tommy Wartz. Remember, Sparky takes the leadoff show and Wisconsin Sports Daily on the road today to Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa. Come on out, hang out, watch the crew. 3:10 first pitch today, and have a chance to win tickets to see Adam Sandler on October 5th at Fiserv Forum. Join Sparky this afternoon starting at 2 live from Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM. The Fan. Adam Sandler, stand-up comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's still got it. He booked the Fiserv. It just makes me wonder, like, what does he play all the old stuff?
I'm sure he plays the hits. Yeah.
That first CD that he put out, young Trevor should not have listened to that.
Well, yeah.
What were my parents thinking? Loved them dearly.
They weren't.
No, there's nothing about Toll Booth Willie that should be in. All right, Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Do some damage here against Zimmerman. It is back. It is gone. Grand slam. Right O'Hearn. 4-0 San Diego. One swing of the bat.
And the Padres jump all over Zimmerman and the Brewers. It is 4-0. Just one out into their night.
Jumped all over them, they did. Is what it is. Let's move forward. 4 games to go for the Milwaukee Brewers. The magic number for the NL and MLB number 1 overall seed is 2, which is doable. But why doesn't it feel doable with 4 games left? That we will chat about. Good morning, Wisconsin. What's up? Inside Wisconsin Sports here live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Follow The Fan on Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee, the website, thefanmilwaukee.com. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line, 414-677-1250. That's where you need to send your morning mind dump. It is that time here on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, where we want to hear what's top of mind for you. What do you got to get off your chest this morning? The coffee's kicked in. We're alive and well. Let's mind dump and figure out what's going on in Wisconsin sports in your head. We'll do the same for you. Follow us on Twitter, by the way, Trevor and Josh. It's at Trevor Thomas IW and at On Air Josh. Josh, I'm going to give you the floor.
Okay.
Mind dump away, brother. What's on your head?
So, I'm always trying to find a way internally to calm my emotions, just find a way to describe to myself how I'm feeling about my sports teams. And I realized after the Brewers essentially were out of this game in the second inning, the Brewers need a layup. Okay? You ever just be shooting hoops by yourself and it's just brick, brick, brick,
often
brick.
Yeah.
And then you act cool and you drive and just make a layup just because you need to put the ball in the hoop. And then you go back to shooting again because you feel like that's the reason why the ball's not going in. It's not me. It's nothing I'm doing. I just need a little reset. I just need to go make a layup, which I know will go in. They just need that. At this point, I'm not even looking for how can they get hot? How can they just need a layup, a little reset, a little something. And I need them to get it. And my fear on this is the rest of the time, these 4 games are against teams that all desperately need that win.
Mm-hmm.
The Padres fighting to get that number 1 wild card spot from the Cubs. It is possible. It is possible that they can do that, okay? On top of that, you have the Reds, who are going to be the final opponent for the regular season, coming to American Family Field. They are 1 game back of being in the playoff picture. They are way more than even the Padres having something to play for when they come to Milwaukee. They are going to be putting everything they can out there against Milwaukee. Doesn't really seem like they got that chance to just drive for a layup and hit that reset button.
The problem is there's not a lot of hope from watching the Brewers, but there are signs of hope. Last night, there was one sign in particular that I noticed early on in the game. I made it about 5 innings, I think, 4 or 5 innings before I was like, meh, tapping out. Yelly's seeing the ball right now. And that's not something that we've been able to depend on at the end of the season in the last few years.
Okay. See, all
I'm
right.
not optimistic, right?
Yeah.
Just bear with me. Bear with me.
Okay.
Half full.
All right. Because here's the other thing. If I
Okay.
can, if I can continue my mind dump here.
Yeah, please.
Because here's the thing. You open the floodgates, so it's coming. Is this whole idea of, we're resting. Okay. If you're in the game and you're an offensive player and you're at the plate, you're not resting, right? Like, what does that mean? You're just not swinging as hard? The team had like one hit going into the 7th or the 8th. And I think they ended with four or five hits total. But it was nothing. I don't understand. If you're playing the game, if you're wearing the uniform, if you're at the plate, you're not resting at that point. You're still you're still watching pitches, you're swinging the bat, you're attempting. So I can't look at the offensive performance last night and go, well, it's fine, they were resting. No.
Resting.
Yelich, Churio, Turang, all of the guys that we need to be clutch in, I don't know, like a week and a half, they were still playing. They were not resting. They sucked. There was nothing. Well, I'm not using that as an excuse. That can't be an excuse for why there was no offense last night at all. You can't say you're resting if you are at the plate multiple times. Can't do it. It's not a thing. Unless you just don't take the bat off your shoulder. You go up there like I did in Little League, stand there in the box, let the pitches go 1, 2, 3, and then go sit down. If they would have done that, maybe I would have said, okay, they're resting. That was not the case. What the hell is going on?
What does your watch say right now?
It's going to get there, Trevor.
This is my favorite part of this show so far on day 3, when you lose your gourd. This is great. I hope there is something that you get to lose your gourd on every single day.
Good. I'm glad.
It's great for us.
Yeah.
Great
good.
for me. Great for the listeners.
Good for you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Why was Yelly leading off last night? I know that we've played with that in the past, but do we know why? Does anybody know why Yelly was leading off last night? Is it just trying to shake things up and see what works? We're about to grab the bats out of the bat bin and throw them on the field to wake them up, right? Like, you ever seen that? I love that. Just grab all the bats and chuck them in a pile on the field and then kick them.
Yes.
And wake them up.
Do something.
The Morning Mind Dump inside Wisconsin sports. We need you to get it off your chest with us. Nicolay Law fan talk and text line 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. The 262, Jason in Wilmont, says typical Brewers season, overachieve and get the fans' hopes up and then completely rip our hearts out.
No. Not yet. You can't say that yet. You can copy that text, save it in your notes, and see if you paste that in a couple weeks. They have not ripped our hearts out yet. You cannot say that.
Well, Jason in Wilmot is simply getting it off his chest. He's mind dumping, and that's what this is all about. The morning mind dump. And what you just said, amazingly optimistic.
Well, it's realistic. That's realistic.
You just said you can't say it yet, which I very much agree with. Let's all just take a breather.
Because it hasn't happened yet.
It's going to be okay. You know what? There's a piece from Friends I really like. There's a series with Ross. My wife is a Friends fanatic.
Yeah.
And before I got into sports, that's what we fell asleep to in our room every single night. Friends. This is how I feel right now.
I'm fine. Totally fine. I don't know why it's coming out all loud and squeaky, because really, I'm fine.
He wasn't fine. I'm not fine. You're not fine. Eddie in Dallas, I think he's fine. He's fine. He says RELAX, Josh. And you say,
don't tell me how to fan.
That's exactly what you say. Don't tell me how to fan.
I got to go back. We had an early morning mind dump here from LaCroix Butler, who said, I don't think teams should reseed unlike Trevor. Play well enough throughout the year and play who you match up with. From LaCroix there.
He kind of made my point, though. Like, play well enough and then play who you... Yeah, that's my point, I think, on the reseed thing, which I'm off. I'm off that wagon. We determined that my angst is about the Cubs potentially bringing their god-awful fans to American Family Field. What annoys me the most is that, especially in the playoffs, the Brewers fans should be in the seats. And you know damn well that if the Cubs come here, that won't be the case. And I don't get why. Is it just because there's so many tickets on the secondary market?
Yeah, it's money.
But I hate that.
Let me tell you something. A wise man, a man by the name of the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, scholar once said, everyone has a price. I could have those tickets. Someone came to me and said, I'll give you $5,000. Okay, have fun. Everyone's got a price.
Remember when Matt LaFleur scolded us at the beginning of the season because there was a lot of Lions blue at Lambeau?
Yep, a lot of Honolulu blue.
I loved Aaron Nagler's take on this from Cheesehead TV. He said, you know how to stop that? Win. The Lions have had our number at Lambeau Field the last 2 seasons in a bad way, and there was a lot of Lions fans. But you know how you fill the seats? You win. McFly, the Brewers are winning.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't apply.
Why?
To this? Because it's not about that. It's about the type of fan base that the Cubs have. It's about the fact that it is a easy drive to get up here. It's because we are still Milwaukee nice when they are here. They get to come here and be the annoying Cub fans that they are, and we just kind of under our breath go, no, Cub fans coming up here standing on my beers. That's why. That's why they get to go home. They're happy either way, even if they lose. They're laughing it off. They've had way too much to drink.
To be the best, you want to beat the best. And there's a huge part of me that
Bret
wants to play the Cubs in the NLDS. You know what? Bring it on. That doesn't feel good for us right now because...
Don't you dare say that.
Well,
you can't say that. We just spent the whole first hour of the show diagnosing your problem of not believing that.
No, I don't. It's not that I don't believe I want to beat the best. I'm nervous about having the Cubs fans fill AmFam Field. That doesn't mean if you said to me, which would you rather have? All the time, all of the things, I want to beat the Cubs and knock them out of the playoffs. That's what I want. If that was a Trevor, this is exactly how this is going to play out, that's what I want. And you know how I want it to go down? 3-0.
Yeah.
I want to knock them out of the playoffs at that dump that is Wrigley Field and then move on with our life. And you know who I want to play next? The Dodgers. And I want to do the same damn thing to them.
Of course.
And then I want to play the Yankees in the World Series because this year started like absolute crap at the Yankees. It was the first game of the entire MLB season.
Yeah, rough start.
And we lay a giant egg, lose all 4 in New York, then come home and lose the first. And we're 0-5, and our pets' heads were falling off. And then mid to late May happened, and everything's better. But is it not fair to say right now that it feels like our pets' heads are falling off?
That's how it feels.
I don't like it. All right, back to the talking text line. The cream always rises to the top in the 920.
Yeah, a little macho man.
Fair.
A little macho man in there this morning.
Jason in the 920 is ready to sacrifice a live chicken.
Yep. Should have gotten a whole chicken.
Make it all go away. Here's one from the 608. Barry Alvarez can't tell me how to fan. We can boo the team if we want.
I 100% agree.
Me too.
Here's the thing. People are allowed, if you are a fan, you are allowed to boo. You are allowed to say things that maybe you will regret saying because you said them when your emotions were very high. Other people are allowed to not like the fact that you booed. So Barry is allowed to say, hey, I don't think that was right. However, he can't deny fans from feeling the way they do. If you all of a sudden stop the fan base from being able to be passionate the way that they feel necessary, you're just not going to have fans. That's how it works. You got to let fans fan. Don't tell them how.
I saw that video a couple times again yesterday after you and I talked about it, which, by the way, I love what you said earlier, just for a second. You said sometimes we say things we don't mean and we want to take them back. That's exactly why we created Take It Back Tuesday.
Yep,
Take Back Tuesday. We all get heated, which, by the way, is Jason from Kenosha's favorite part of this show so far. Anxiety Josh is the best Josh on morning radio.
No, therapist disagrees, but
did you see some other news yesterday from sports that I am not a runner, But I am really happy to report that there is a running sport coming back to TV. Fox has given a straight-to-series order for a reboot of the popular Lifeguard live-action series, Baywatch.
Well, that's quite a stretch.
Running.
Okay. So, I thought they already had like tried doing stuff with Baywatch.
I don't care.
Didn't they do
Try
like
again.
a movie? Didn't they do a Baywatch movie, but they made it like about Zac Efron instead of, a Pamela Anderson type? I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't see the movie, and
I don't
I can't
recall.
say that I've ever seen the show. I've seen
What?
clips. I've seen clips. I've seen GIFs.
We've all seen clips.
I've watched a GIF for more than 5 minutes before I realized it wasn't a video. Never watched a show.
All right, one more thing off the top of my head from a morning mind dump
Yeah,
situation.
get it
and I
out.
want to get into this in like deep. I want to get into this deep in the next
Ooh.
segment. Okay.
All right.
What in the world is happening with this automated ball strike challenge system, or for short ABS, during the 2026 season in Major League Baseball? The timing of this coming out is amazing, and it involves the Brewers. What could go wrong? What could go wrong that we are now going to allow teams to have a specific number of challenges to challenge the human being that is 3 feet away from them? Last I checked, if you challenge the guy behind the plate, things don't go well. So now we get to challenge him and everybody just has to eat it? I have questions. I didn't get to this in the first hour of the show when we do the I Have Questions segment, because Josh and I determined that it is far greater of a conversation.
Yes, cannot be answered very easily, quickly.
This is not an easy answer. We have so much, too, to talk about with the Packers at the Cowboys this weekend. Jerry Jones had his radio show yesterday and had some things to say about Micah Parsons' return and just overall how that move went for them, with Kenny Clark going there and stopping the run up the middle and blah, 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 blah. I hope emotions don't get in the way this weekend of either team. Actually, I take that back. I hope emotions get in the way of the Cowboys. I hope they don't get in the way of us. Micah Parsons was offside 3 times this past weekend, which is 3 times too many, and it's because he's an antsy fella, which we love about him. We need him to be antsy. That's when he tackles people in the backfield.
Yes.
Green Bay Press-Gazette Packers beat writer Ryan Wood will give his thoughts on the depleted Packers offensive line when he joins 9 to noon with Kuhn this morning at 10 a.m. right here on 1250 a.m. and 105.7 FM The Fan. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the 1250 a.m. and 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I love this song. Red Hot Chili Peppers. If my buddy Jason is listening, I have so many awesome memories of this song at Kaufman's house. I love the nostalgia stuff. There's something to the sharpest tool in the toolbox being nostalgia. This is an oldie, but a goodie. Inside Wisconsin Sports here on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. The studios are powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. The Twitter and Facebook handle is at The Fan Milwaukee. The website, thefanmilwaukee.com. You can follow myself and Josh on Twitter as well. It's at Trevor Thomas IW and at On Air Josh. Josh, what were you going to say about the Red Hot Chili Peppers before we get into this whole robo-ump thing?
You just said it's an oldie but a goodie, and I no, don't say that. I'm not.
Sorry that it's true.
Yeah.
Sorry that it's true.
Well, what have we talked about so far? Back hurting. Things are going to get worse when you're 40. Red Hot Chili Peppers are old. All right, cool.
So much for positive.
Yeah. 3 days, people. 3 days.
By the way, so thankful for the text from the 608 earlier in the show that said, Trevor, when I was complaining about my back pain, Trevor, that sounds like a sciatic issue. Yeah, you're right. It is. It's exactly what it is.
Sounds like an issue that would be cleared up if the Brewers just started winning baseball games.
No, it would be cleared up if I stopped eating ice cream at night. That's exactly how we clear
That's
that.
not it.
No, it's not happening either. All right, what's the scoop here? So this came out yesterday from Major League Baseball that the robo-ump is going to be a thing next year. They've nicknamed it the Automated Ball Strike Challenge System, or ABS for short. Let me lay this out for you,
please,
in case you missed the details, so that we're all on the same page as we go into this conversation, because I believe you listeners will have a lot to say, and you viewers could have a lot to say too. Make sure to join us on YouTube as well. We are live there. All right, here we go. So this ABS system comes out of the box yesterday, and the timing is fascinating. Did you watch the Brewer game on Monday night? Umpire Roberto Ortiz
had a heck of a day.
Not a good day for Roberto. He missed 25 calls in the Brewers-Padre game. Jeff Passan from ESPN tweeted that was last night. This is yesterday. But there are typically around 1,000 missed calls a week by umpires. That is bonkers. But then you look at that Monday night game and you go, well, human beings are human beings. And I know the argument has been out there for a really long time. If we have the technology, why not use it? I get it. And that's fair. But here's what I don't understand in regards to now choosing to use said technology. Here are the ABS challenge rules.
Okay.
Rule number 1. Each team will get 2 challenges and keep them if they're successful. Okay. 2, challenges can only be initiated by a pitcher, a catcher, or the batter. And the request must come right after the pitch. I was told there would be no math, but that is 2 against 1. Just saying. It's relative.
Well, but it's not a majority. It's not like all 3 have to agree.
No, they don't. But I'm saying that there is no ability to get any help from anyone in the dugout or a runner on second or anybody else. Nobody can be in the outfield banging on a drum to tip the Astros that was a bad call behind home plate.
Sure.
But the pitcher and the catcher, who are on the same team, can both call for a challenge, but only the batter on the offensive side. To signal a challenge, the pitcher and catcher or batter will tap on his hat or helmet to let the umpire know. There will be no help, as just mentioned, from the dugout or other players on the field. And in each extra inning, a team will be awarded a challenge if it has none remaining entering the inning. And there are your rules. So my first question, why even have human umpires anymore?
Okay, that's a good question. And to be honest with you, I've thought about this for a while because I love the little box they put on the TV. I always judge the call based on that little box. I judge the umpire on how close they make their calls based on that little box, which makes you think, why not just have the little box? You have to have the umpire still there for bang, bang plays at the plate. Yeah, well, yeah.
Those get reviewed all the time.
Yeah,
the
but you
bang plays are the ones that get challenged the most.
Yes, but you still have to have someone to make the call to challenge a call. You can't, like, what, you want to just have it to where every play ends and then they go, hold, computer says safe. You can't do that. You got to have a person there to make the call first.
That's fair. It's the third out in the inning, right? It ends play. The runners stop. I mean, that is what it is. I understand. But this balls and strike things is only gonna. This is gonna. I know that it tested well in the minor leagues and so on, but minor league umpires and major league umpires are different. If you've ever been to some minor league games, tapping the hat or the helmet to tip off that we want to challenge this. At the major league level, it just seems like human beings' egos are going to get in the way. There's nobody that gets thrown out more in a baseball game. Pitchers, catchers, batters, managers, anybody in the dugout that doesn't see eye to eye with the balls and strikes. Like, the balls and strikes are the one thing you can't really argue for any length of time without getting tossed.
Okay.
So we think it's going to be okay to challenge the pitch 3 feet from the guy that's making the call. And maybe the question is, do we not think that's going to work against teams? Like, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, because that's just what we do best, you get 10 of those challenges in a row, right? Somebody's watching the TV in the dugout in real time, and they can see that it clipped the corner, and they challenge every single one.
Mm-hmm.
And they're constantly right. If you're that ump, do you not go, guys, for the love of God, like, yes, that was a 1/4 inch inside the strike zone. I heard Jeff Levering say on the Brewers broadcast last night that the pitch clock has saved, do you know? What's your guess? How much time has the pitch clock saved Major League Baseball?
38 minutes.
5 days.
What? Oh, I meant like per game.
5 total days. Meaning, without the pitch clock, there would be 5 total days longer of baseball in a season. It's saved 5 days. In comparison to 162 games, maybe that doesn't feel like a lot, but I love the pace of the Major League Baseball games now, far greater than I did in the past. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like this robo-ump thing is going to throw that completely away.
But what was your feeling on the pitch clock? Maybe, and God, this feels weird that I'm having to be the optimist, but maybe you're just feeling this way because it's not here yet, because you haven't experienced it yet. We were all thinking the same thing about the pitch clock. There were plenty of negatives being thrown around with the pitch clock too.
Were there?
Yeah, plenty of people said don't do it.
I wasn't on that side of the fence.
Oh, okay.
That one I saw value in. I understood. It doesn't really affect the play of the game. Teams used it to help get pitchers warmed up in the bullpen because they knew the guy in the bump was blowing up. Just keep throwing it over to first. Like, let's give this guy time. But then the pitch rules changed where you had to face XYZ number of batters, and then the pitch clock came in. I'm all about evolution. If we see opportunities to get better, I get it. But I'm confused why it's just 2 challenges. And if you get them right, you get to keep them. It just seems very vague to me. And I feel like it's going to slow down a game. And I also feel some of my favorite parts of baseball are people getting ejected. And the greatest arguments happen at home plate.
There it is. And
almost
that's a valid point you're making. That's a valid point you're making right there. The love of watching a baseball game will be affected by this. The tradition of the history of what you are used to while watching a baseball game will change. But it's all under the assumption that the game will be correct.
So would you rather have 100% correct or entertainment? Because one of my favorite parts of a Brewer game is when the TV camera goes right to Pat Murphy and you can lip read exactly how he feels about that call. Will this stop the yelling from the dugout? Because that's one of my favorite things.
The 608 says a tennis match isn't slowed down by this. It's not going to slow the game either.
I don't not a big tennis guy.
I
Don't
love
watch.
the replay system with tennis. They do the digital. They show like where on the line the ball hit.
Yeah.
It takes about 11 seconds for them to do.
Is there a number of those that they get?
See, that's the question.
Yeah, we don't know
that.
those
I don't know.
I understand. I can see where this person's coming from. I do enjoy watching whether that hits the white line or not, but I guess maybe I would like to know how many pitches are in a baseball game in comparison to how many hits in or out are in tennis. Great. Now I'm going to Google that later and go down some rabbit hole I don't have time for. It just feels icky. Maybe that's just me. I don't mind. Listen, I don't mind replay. Maybe I'm just going to convince myself I'm wrong every single opinion I have this morning, because that's kind of the trend at the moment. At the end of the day, I like replaying football. I love the challenges. I love the under 2 minute thing, and it's a booth review, and they review every score and every interception, every turnover. It's based on what the call is on the field and blah, 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 blah. This one just seems weird to me, because sometimes when you watch that box, do you know the box is not 2D. It is a 3D box.
Yeah.
So when they review these pitches, they're going to be able to show you exactly where in the strike zone it hits.
Right. We're getting into sports science with this thing. Yeah.
Which I really enjoy. But I just don't understand how that's going to benefit when there's only two. And if you get them right, you get to keep them. And it's the nostalgia in me of traditional baseball that I fell in love with as a kid, that as time goes on, it just feels like the game is changing and not so much the play. Does that make sense?
That's what I'm saying, though. You can say that, but I think you're going to be fine with this in a couple months, like after it's in play for a couple months, because it's, as a fan, you're still going to be able to enjoy the game. It's going to be almost a little bit more interactive, the same way that we handle challenge calls in the NFL. We sit on our couches, we go in real time. We go, no, both feet were down. That was a catch. And then they show the replay after a challenge. You go, called it, both feet right there, down, boom.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same thing. Yeah. No. That caught the corner. Yep, he's challenging it. Look, boom, told you, caught the corner right there. That's a strike. It'll be the same thing. You'll enjoy it as a fan. A lot of purists that watched sports before all of this technology, which, by the way, is just getting better. So get used to this becoming the new way of sports as they come out with better cameras that see every blade of grass, every inch of every ball, where it is. All of this will get more and more used. But they hate that. They watch the game on a TV where you didn't have any of that. It was kind of fuzzy. You couldn't tell, and you just had to go with what the referee said because that was the way the sport worked. It's not the case anymore. But for fans, you will still be able to interact and enjoy the game. I don't think it's going to ruin the experience of watching the product.
My hot takes are cold today. The Nicolay Law fan talking text line is on Team Josh today.
They're going after you a little bit.
Team Josh is winning today. All right, Bear in the Beaver Dam. The ABS system is going to be awesome. Woody might win a Cy Young next year the way he Bob Rosses his way around the strike zone.
Stays healthy.
Yeah, that would be the step number one. And then Bear also asked if I didn't see them use it in the All-Star game. It took 5 seconds to make a challenge. And then somebody else in the 414 says, did ABS in spring training, and it didn't slow down the game at all. Kind of like my complaint earlier about the reseeding.
Yeah.
It's not so much the time, I don't think. I think I am such a fan of a lot of the non-baseball play stuff. And when things like this come up, I go, like, are we not going to have as many arguments at the plate? So maybe it's not the ABS system. Maybe it's just the interaction between players and managers with the home plate umpire that will be avoided that I really enjoy.
But the thing is, that's going away too. Tell me the last time you saw a manager really kick some dirt and really get in an ump's face and really let him have it. A lot of times now it's, they back off, they still get thrown out, and then they go, whoa. Come on, I barely said anything. And then they go back and back into the locker room. It's you don't even get the really good arguments with umps anymore anyway.
You know who was really good at that for a while? Was Counsell. He was very good at that. when his team needed him to go out there and just lose his mind, he did it really well. Murphy did it, I believe, once.
I don't know that that's true. I feel like Counsell would go out there, but I wouldn't see enough emotion from him, and he rarely got thrown. He would just like talk to him for a while, and then he'd just, stone-faced go back in the dugout.
Got to be honest, everything I say is probably wrong today. It's the trend.
Yeah, sorry, I keep just beating you down, but
you're not alone. You've brought your posse with you this morning.
Say something right, Trevor. God,
it's working. That's all right. Can't be right every day. Sparky takes the leadoff show and Wisconsin Sports Daily on the road today. Join him, Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa. Come hang out, watch the crew, get a win, please. Yes. And then have a chance to win tickets to see Adam Sandler on October 5th at the Fiserv Forum. Sparky this afternoon at 2, live from Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan. Josh, we got to talk about the Packers game this weekend and what's going to happen on Sunday night. We got a few pieces of audio, one from Jerry Jones and then one from the morning show on 105.3 The Fan down in Dallas on how they think this might go for them on Sunday night. And God, do I hope they are right. Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Are you sad, Josh?
I'm kind of.
Kind of?
Kind of. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated and I'm nervous more than I'm sad. I think I'm worried about becoming sad.
Your music choices are with the clouds in the air today. Just very down. I feel like you're down.
Listen, at some point, I'm going to explain how all this works. You know what? I'm going to do it right now. I don't care.
All right, let's do it real quick. Can I just tell people who we are?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Mind?
That's fine.
Inside Wisconsin Sports. That's who you got here. Trevor and Josh, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. All right.
Okay.
Tell me how it works.
So, first of all, there was a moment a while back. I don't know how many years ago this was, whatever, where the people that make the music realized that they weren't getting paid enough for streaming if their music was on streams, and everyone was using it on YouTube and all this other stuff. And so they said, we want more money. And so there was this whole fight about being able to use music on streaming stuff. All right. So as it is, if you're, watching us on YouTube and enjoying that, which we hope you are, you're probably not hearing that music, those bumpers. You're not hearing that because of, the artists and the lawyers and everything else. So on top of that, then the way that they have their system here currently is there is just a button that I hit that plays bumper music.
Oh.
So the song that plays is just as much a mystery to you as it is to me.
No way.
I have no clue what that song's going to be until it fires. And I'm like, okay, sometimes this is a win, sometimes it's not. Wow. Eventually, I would like to change that a little bit. I'll be able to throw some tunes in, kind of get the vibes and the energy going the way that that I want it to go. But for now, the bumper music, we're all in it together. We're all discovering it and what it is at the same time.
Well, the button of the bumper music feels just like we do as Brewers fans right now. I'm very unsure. We're just going to cold November rain it, hang out for a little bit, and see how this all shakes out. Sports Talk on the Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. A big NFL game this weekend. It's the feature game on Sunday night. Packers at Cowboys. The Packers 2-1. The Cowboys 1-2. The Cowboys lost a close one to the Eagles in week 1. A close one to the Giants in week 2. They squeaked out, which should tell you something, by the way, in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got routed by the Bears this past weekend, which is frightening on a few different levels, to be honest. So they're not exactly coming into this game on Sunday night on a heater, nor are the Packers. But there is a storyline about Micah Parsons. Here's what Jerry Jones had to say yesterday on his weekly radio show down in Dallas on the Fan down there about Micah Parsons coming back to Dallas.
Jerry, do you feel any extra competitive drive to win this week with Micah Parsons coming back?
Yes, I do. I think that, of course, I have said this time and time again. I think the world of Micah as an individual, and of course, know him well. And I might say I wish him well, except it's obvious I don't this weekend in terms of Green Bay winning the ball game.
So I wish him well as a person. Yeah. You wouldn't believe how much I had to cut out of that, Josh. Jerry's 83. Sounds like it.
Jerry.
So it's an interesting take, right? Because he has been on that side of this fence the entire time. This was nothing personal. I wanted to get what I thought the trade deserved. I wish him well. How are the Cowboys fans going to welcome Micah Parsons back? What are your thoughts on that? Was he liked down there? Were they big fans of him?
Yeah.
But then he requested a trade. And so how
but they all blamed Jerry.
That?
They all blamed Jerry. They said
awesome.
We love Micah. He's leaving because he's frustrated with Jerry. And so are we. That's what I saw and have seen from the fan base down there.
There's a lot to say in the NFL in general about Jerry Jones being the owner and the GM. And he actually said it on his radio show yesterday that he bought the job. He didn't want to own the Cowboys. he wanted to be the general manager of the Cowboys. That's why he bought the team, to run the team, to be the guy. The league has changed a bit in Jerry Jones's time, but it's fair to say that he didn't lose the trade. I mean, Micah Parsons is unbelievable. The Packers definitely won, but Jerry didn't necessarily lose it. I mean, 2 first-round picks.
Not yet.
Not yet.
He bought time.
He did buy time. And he bought some first-round picks. And obviously he bought Kenny Clark. He was very concerned about stopping the run up the middle. I would be surprised if the Packers don't have some open spots around the outsides and for sure in the passing game this week. Because from what I listened to on that interview, which was hard to listen to, by the way, like he is just a stammering some gun. He's really concerned about the run up the middle. And so I'm not trying to give the game plan away, but I think the Packers will have some success around the outside. Do we believe Micah Parsons will be the difference in this game? I think he's going to be a playmaker, and he came out yesterday.
He's the difference in every game. Is
he the difference in every game? Well, he unfortunately was the difference for a few different reasons this last time.
I think every single, I shouldn't say every single, but the majority of plays on defense that allow other guys to be the difference maker are because he was there. They don't get to be the difference maker if Parsons isn't there.
We talked about that on Monday. Lucas Van Ness, Rashawn Gary. This absolutely opened those guys up for that.
Yep.
Did you hear what he said about sacking Dak Prescott, which, by the way, last time I looked at odds was a minus 105 bet, meaning you got to lay $105 to win 100 on Micah Parsons having a sack this weekend. And he said it's...
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
With Dak, what would that feel like?
It's gonna be painful. You know what I mean? Dak's my guy. He was always like a good mentor for me. But you know what it is. I always told him if I ever face him that, it'll be a great matchup. So I'm excited to see what Sunday brings itself.
There you go.
I'm excited to decide. I think it's gonna be good. He might have a really, really, really good game. I think against his old team with what he knows, even though they're not going to celebrate him coming back, Jerry Jones compared that to Emmitt Smith. No comparison to Emmitt Smith, but some comparison to somebody that meant a lot to your franchise that's coming back this weekend after you traded him away. I feel like there's going to be some sort of something the first time he takes the field. We'll see. I'll let you know. I'll be there. It's going to be fun.
Yes,
I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited about this. My seats are up there. I don't know what row necessarily in comparison to where the top of the stadium is, but I'm a little concerned about not being able to see the whole field because the scoreboard's in the way. That's how high our seats are. But whatever, we're in the building.
That's right.
There's another piece of audio too that we want to play next hour. We actually heard the morning show hosts on 105.3 The Fan down in Dallas. That's where Jerry does his weekly radio show. They're concerned about this potentially being a blowout on Sunday night. They wish this game was at noon. And I want to get into that with Jocko next. We're going to talk to Mike Jocko Jocks from WMTV Channel 15 in Madison about this and so much more in regards to Wisconsin football, the Brewers. Jocko's got the greatest hair in sports television, and it's not even close. That's definitely going to come up in conversation. It's the first thing I said to him when I met him. I was like, wow, great to meet you. I follow you on the Twitter. Think you do a great job, and I am so jealous of your hair because it's that good. He'll be great. We'll talk about that and cover it all, and we want to know where you stand, too. So make sure to join us on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. The number is 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. Make sure to stick with the Coon Show, the 9 to noon with John Coon. We got Green Bay Press Gazette Packers beat writer Ryan Wood giving us his thoughts on the depleted Packers offensive line. That is this morning at 10 a.m., 9 to noon with Coon. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the 1250 a.m. and 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Jocko is next. Don't go anywhere. It's Trevor and Josh on Inside Wisconsin Sports here on The Fan. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to go along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here about football. Damage Zimmerman. To right field and deep. It is back. It is gone. Grand slam. Ryan O'Hearn. 4-0 San Diego. One swing of the bat.
And the Padres jump all over Zimmerman and the Brewers. It is 4-0. Just one out into their night.
I'm going to need that little blinky thing from Men in Black. Oh, just, look here. Blink, and then you don't remember any of this leading up to the playoffs for the Brewers. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Follow The Fan on Facebook and Twitter. It's at The Fan Milwaukee, the website, thefanmilwaukee.com. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line open for you, 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. Excited to bring in our next guest here on Inside Wisconsin Sports. You know him as Jocko. Jocko is the sports director at WMTV 15 in Madison. Jocko, thanks for joining us on Inside Wisconsin Sports, man. Good to see you.
Day 3 of this whole morning show. I am excited to be one of the guests of week 1. Couldn't be more proud of you guys. Josh I've known for a while. Trevor I've known for a little bit. You guys, and I told you both this, that you both deserve this. You're both way too good to be not doing this. So when I found out that this show was starting on Monday, I couldn't have been more excited. I think you guys are awesome. And I think what you guys do on the radio is amazing. And like I said, I couldn't, when I found out this was happening, I was overjoyed. Josh has sent you a message, and I think you could tell with the amount of exclamation points on it that was my excitement level. So for both of you guys to be where you are now, totally deserved, and I look forward to what you guys do, this week and well into the future. So congratulations.
Thank you, pal. Really appreciate that.
Thanks, Jocko. That means a lot. We appreciate it. Let's just cut to the chase. I love and hate your hair all at the same time.
I only love it, but I'm not bald. So
well, I hate it and love it because it's amazing, and I can't do it. I got nothing.
I also can't do it. Come on.
Well, and there are some haters on the internet, and just haters, not just love it and hate it at the same time, just haters. I get messages, your hair looks stupid, your hair looks dumb. I mean, come on, this, I'm 25 years old at least, and then I'm having a good time. I'm not gonna, why back down to the haters? So it's, but I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't take them. People are thinking like, oh my God, you spend a lot of time in here. I put a little stuff in it, and the key is blow drying it straight up. I mean, that's all that matters. And then 8 pounds of hairspray. So that's the secret.
Love it.
At Jocko Sports on Twitter, if you want to see what we're talking about. Jocko, we got a lot of ground to cover, man. So let's just jump right in. I want to start with Wisconsin football. We'll talk Packers.
Yeah,
we'll
I
talk
had a
Brewers.
feeling you might start here.
I need to understand what's going on in Madison. And as a Badger football fan, it's painful. Give me your take first on what Barry Alvarez said on his weekly show the other day about the fans being spoiled rotten.
I was hoping to talk more about my hair than to have to talk about the Badgers, or we could talk about my white teeth, or like that. But yeah, I love. You know what? I know that a lot of people were upset with what Barry said as far as being spoiled, and Coach Alvarez can come across as being crass at times. I believe earlier this year he said this program needs to get into shape, and maybe that quote was from last year. On his radio show that he was, he's like this, the coaches need to do a better job. So a year later, he's saying the fans are spoiled. And I know that, like I said, people got upset that Barry Alvarez was going off on that. But what I liked about it was, and again, there were haters on the internet because I went on Twitter and said that, that I love what Barry said. I don't agree with everything he said as far as fans being spoiled and they don't deserve all this stuff. But I just think that I love that Barry still has passion for this game. He still has passion for Chris McIntosh. He still has passion for Luke Fickell. That's what I love the most about it, is that coach went on there and said, hey, you guys need to support the coach. And I appreciated that. Now I sound
Jocko.
Yes.
But okay, rebuttal. You enjoy his passion, but you can't deny the fans' passion, right? He still came out at his age and where he is, and still had that passion to bring that up to the fans. However, you can't be mad at the fan base for having their passion and their feelings to have said it and complained in the first place.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And I agree with that. I'm not wavering here, but I just appreciated that. Now I sound like Mike McCarthy. I appreciated who showed up in Madison, on Sunday, which was awesome. But I just feel like that I know what he was saying, and he was trying to support his program, which he's gone off before and said that, this needs to change and this needs to be great. So I think, he's kind of going back and forth, but I agree with the fans deserve better. I think Luke Fickell agrees that the fans deserve better. I think everybody that lines up and puts on Cardinal white believes that things need to be better. So, when you show up to a game, when you pay a lot of money, and I've paid money to go to games because my kids like to go to games, and sometimes free tickets are not always there, which is, it bums me out that I got to actually pay for stuff. But you guys know, being in the media, that if it's free, it's me. That's always a good thing. But I just think that all facets involved are looking to put on a better product. But I also appreciate that when the fans are pissed and they let off what they're, how they're feeling, that's okay too. I mean, if you're mad at your team and you get on them a little bit, but I also know that it's not for lack of trying for all these kids that are lining up in, like I said, Cardinal white and playing Badger football.
He's Jocko. Follow him at Jocko Sports. He's the sports director at WMTV 15 in Madison. I grew up with that station being called NBC 15. Is that not it anymore?
Well, you know what? We changed a little bit, and it's not because we don't like NBC anymore, but we have like 4 stations under our umbrella of stations at Channel 15 in Madison. So we went, we're big time now. I'm only on 2 of them. So that's, that doesn't kind of, we got a CW and we got NBC, but they wanted to bring the whole gang of stations into the realm there. And so it's just WMTV. So I have slipped up on the air where, like when you tag out, I'm Mike Jocks, WMTV 15 Sports, or you say Mike Jocks, NBC 15 for 10 years. And then you got to change it. There's still times, because I'm old and dumb and slow and stuff like that, that I still say I've tagged out recently with Mike Jocks, NBC 15 Sports, and I go, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. But nobody's yelled at me, so that's always a good thing.
So, Jocko, to put this Barry Alvarez thing to bed, I mentioned to Josh yesterday that every man, if they're blessed enough to become old, gets grumpy.
Yes. Yeah,
I think he's a little grumpy, but I also think, and this is stupid to say, but at what point does Barry ride off into the sunset? I mean, if you're Chris McIntosh and or Luke Fickell, you got a guy that built the program, but how do you take the program over the way they need to and move it into the next era with Barry hanging out?
Yeah, and that's always the case with any team or any business. When you got, like the CEO retires and dude is still coming around with a cup of coffee and telling you what to do and stuff like that. I had a sports director when I worked in Wausau. There was an old time guy that, rest in peace, Mark Zelich was his name. And he was the longtime news director, sports director, and guy did everything. He was, he was around when the sports guy would crack a beer open and say, "This sportscast is brought to you by Schlitz." And he would still come around to the station, and again, rest in peace. And I want to talk bad about anybody, but he would still come around and be like, "Oh, Jocko, what I would do here," and I'd be like, "Oh my God, dude, leave me alone. I know what I'm doing here." And like, I appreciate your advice, but I think Barry Alvarez has earned the right to hang around a little bit, but I also know that Chris McIntosh and Luke Fickell can do their own thing, right? And whether it takes them to the next level and turns this ship around, or things continue to go where they're going. And I don't think you have to listen to Barry Alvarez either if you don't want to. And that's what all these people on the internet were when I agreed with. I love the passion for Coach Alvarez, what he was saying, and people were mad. How can you say that and stuff like that? But I just agree with his passion. But does he need to go away? Well, I think he's kind of earned, the way he turned the ship around in Madison. And I don't think, as much as this has gotten a lot of spark and a lot of context as far as having Barry Alvarez in the spotlight, he will always be in the spotlight of Madison. But I don't think that this was as big of a deal within the program as one might think. So I don't mind Barry Alvarez being around. A little starstruck whenever I see Coach Alvarez hanging out, but
100%.
But not as much as Mark Johnson, who I get to see a lot. The king of hockey in Madison. So, but again, do I want him to go away? No, but I really don't think that, as much as it got to play with fans, I still think it's all good with Coach Alvarez in Madison.
Let's talk about getting starstruck with Micah Parsons.
Yes.
And him returning to Dallas. So Trevor is going to be at the game, and there are thoughts going into this game that I feel like a lot of Packers fans looking at, this being the Micah Parsons return game before the game against Cleveland, this was going to be a party. I think this was going to be a party for Packers fans. They were looking forward to this game, and now there might be maybe not a ton of doubt, but I'm curious your thoughts. Is this going to be closer than we might have thought after the game against the Commanders?
Yeah, I was buying my Super Bowl tickets, right, for or at least my trips to Santa Clara for the Super Bowl after games 1 and 2 for the Packers, and after watching on Sunday, I was like, you know what, I maybe I should hold off on that and spend my money more wisely. Maybe head out somewhere else instead. Maybe Sunny Beach or Josh, you want to hang out with you at State Fair? I'll save up money for that and buy all those things.
I can't wait to do that. I can't wait to do that.
No, that's gonna be.
I think if you need like I know there's like 20 people that go with you, but if you need a 21st,
hey,
count me
everyone
in.
gets a bite.
Amazing.
Everyone gets a bite.
And let me say, before I forget this, my son, when I showed him, I said, "Oh, this is cool. Look at." He knew immediately who Josh was because he said, "That's the guy from the State Fair that we watched." So
a lot of people apparently watching me eat food.
Yeah,
you're big. You're big with the 11-year-old crowd in Madison.
Perfect. That's great.
A good thing. I do think that this whole Micah Parsons return to Dallas is huge, and I really think that I was worried about after what we saw on Sunday and how some things turned out, the whole thing turned out as far as getting a loss. And how bad they looked in the last 4 minutes of the game. I do think I'm in the boat. Count me in the boat as far as like, hey, that's a pretty good kick in the butt as far as turning this thing like, hey, focus is needed every game, whether it be Cleveland, whether it be Philadelphia later in the year, but especially now going into Micah Parsons' old house, Jerry World, and then. I think the task at hand is now, grasped by the Green Bay Packers, and I think it's going to be. I think that the Packers dominate on Sunday.
Yeah, so too does the fan in Dallas. It was an interesting piece. Let's play this for Jocko in the middle of this interview. So I went and listened to Jerry Jones' radio show yesterday. And then right after that interview got done, the hosts of the morning show quickly talked about how they felt this might go on Sunday, and it's relative to this conversation. Josh, hit it.
I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this could be national blowout. This could be a blowout. You're missing Booker. You're missing Lamb in front of the entire country. Micro revenge. Green Bay's ticked off. They just lost to Cleveland. just don't let it be too bad. Don't let it get too ugly. Jerry, that's the difference. Well, there's a lot of differences, including the bank account. But Jerry's always glass half full. This is what you live for. This is the spotlight Sunday night. Would you rather be buried in a noon kickoff window or Sunday Night Football? This week for me, I want to be buried.
Turns out I'd rather be on Sunday night as a Packers
Right.
fan. What do you think?
I want the world to see this. Okay, that's you know, hope that this is not the kiss of death for the Green Bay Packers, but I love that this game is now, you know, on Sunday night on NBC, WMTV 15 Madison. I want the whole world to see, because I love the fact that the Packers seem like they're pissed off about what happened on Sunday. They're not going to play in front. Right, exactly. So they're playing in front of the whole world on Sunday night. You know, Carrie's singing, and it's great. But I feel like, yeah, I agree with that dude, because he's worried about this being ugly and wish it was a noon kick. I love that it's at 7:20. The Packers got a little bit of madness to them. Coach LaFleur seemed like he was kind of mad as well on Monday in his press conference. Like he wasn't taking, he seemed like Barry Alvarez, right? That he was grumpy old man. So, but he's fired up, and so is the team. And I think that this is kind of a little revenge on Sunday Night Football.
So if this is going to go that way, then if this could be a national route, what needs to happen for that to happen? And if it's not going to be, what needs to be corrected from last week to give us a shot?
I would love to see Josh Jones getting going. Wouldn't you guys? That'd be awesome to see a run game that would help Jordan Love open it up for him a little bit and see him get going. But you're going to unleash. I think they're expecting Micah Parsons to be unleashed, but I also think that like we've talked about since he's gotten to Green Bay, is that it opens it up for everybody else. So, whether it's Micah Parsons causing havoc or him getting double team, triple team, so he doesn't, he's not the main guy for the Packers on Sunday, it's going to open up for everybody else. So obviously I want the run game to get going. I want to see some semblance of that. And that opens it up for Jordan Love. And then on the defense, just let it all go. I mean, with CeeDee Lamb out and them kind of reeling as well, I think that now is the time to get back on track and do it well.
I love it. And I agree with you. I think the big thing that's going to have to happen here is, for me, it's all offense. And we've talked about it, Trevor, a little bit, but it's got to be the offense proving to the rest of the NFL and the world. Last week was a fluke. We didn't scheme right. We thought we were going to have these guys in at O-line. They went down, and we didn't play it right with Myles Garrett and this defense that we were going against. But that was the fluke. That's not who we are. I think the defense is going to continue to be a monster, but the offense has got to prove we're here too.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, I mean, that's good. I think with all of that being said, I mean, that will definitely be a blowout on Sunday night.
All right, Jocko, as we wrap this up, and thanks for jumping on, Jocko from WMTV Channel 15, sports director over in Madison. Jocko, please help Josh understand that the Brewers are going to be okay.
You don't even believe that yourself.
You're right, I don't.
And as a kid who grew up in Greendale, and a kid that, has lived through every single Brewers playoff,
heartbreak,
all the lives, heartbreak is a perfect word. All the heartbreak that we've been through, for as much as this season has been amazing, and this week has not been amazing, but as far as on the field has not been amazing. I mean, winning the National League Central is awesome, but I've lived through all the heartbreak. So they could have gotten 162 wins, and I'd be like, oh God, things are not going to go well.
That's
for the Brewers in the playoffs.
That's exactly it, right there.
Right. So and I still think they're going to get the record of wins and stuff like that, as far as franchise wins. But I do think that, I get nervous going into the playoffs. So I'm excited about what's going to happen. So I'm also excited about, the possibility of what could happen. So
sounds like he's with me, Trevor.
Yeah, it does.
I hate that I'm with you both.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be here.
Neither do we.
Yeah.
This is the life we live.
Yeah.
This is the life we live as Milwaukee Brewers fans.
As Brewer fans, we know what could happen, but let's the three of us, I know we're in different places, but we're gonna hold hands and sing Kumbaya and help this. Yeah, so to get this going. So
Jocko, your kind words at the top mean a lot to both Josh and I. Thank you very much for joining us here. We may attempt to do this regularly with you.
Let's do. I count me in. Those words come from the bottom of my heart. You guys deserve everything you're getting now and in your future. So congratulations again. I love you both.
Thank you, bud. Love you
too, buddy. We'll see you later.
Okay, thank you.
Jocko, WMTV, Channel 15 in Madison. He's the sports director. He's got the greatest head of hair in the history of head of hairs, and he is a good friend. We hope to get with him again soon.
Yes.
Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I think that's my favorite part about the Packers this weekend. We're in their head. 100% in their head. We're in Jerry's head with Micah Parsons. We're in their head after they got stomped by the Bears. They know we're coming in red hot after the game the Packers had this past weekend. Yeah, let's go. We're in their head for sure. I love it. Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Reminder, Sparky takes the leadoff show and Wisconsin Sports Daily on the road today to Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa. Come hang out, watch the crew, get a W, and have a chance to win tickets to see Adam Sandler on October 5th at Fiserv Forum. Sparky, this afternoon, starting at 2, live from Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan. This is The Fan, and you can get with us on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250, just like Carrie and Tosa just texted in, and we've gotten, humbly, a lot of these text messages. Carrie says, hey, is this The Fan? New listener from another station. Want to make sure I heard it right. Yes, Carrie.
You sure did. Thanks for finding us.
Found us, and so many of you have found us that maybe heard us in a different life or on a podcast. I host one. It's called the Inside Wisconsin podcast. Josh hosts 47.
I host 4 currently, 4 podcasts. You might have heard me on some different airways with Visit Milwaukee as well on Saturdays. Yeah, I'm all over the place.
And we're here for it. And it's going splendid. Josh and I are the yin to each other's yang. I'm optimistic, except for today, apparently.
I was going to say, when there are things to be optimistic about.
I'll get over it. Maybe it's just a hump day, like, realism thing that I'll adopt. I'd like to not. I would like to have all the reasons to stay optimistic. But right now, it's slightly difficult.
You're swimming in my pool of realism.
Yeah. Well, good thing I can touch the bottom.
That's true. You tall man, you.
I will never drown in this pool, I promise you. All right, so Packers, Cowboys, Sunday night, 7:20. We played it during the Jocko interview, but if you missed it, I want you to hear this again. Yesterday, Jerry Jones was on his weekly interview on The Fan in Dallas, and he talked about what it meant for Micah Parsons to come back to Dallas in regards to, his return to the Cowboys in Jerry's world. There's that piece that we'll comment on, and then I also want you to hear something that the morning radio show host down there on the Dallas sports station said about where this game lands this weekend. Jerry first.
Jerry, do you feel any extra competitive drive to win this week with Micah Parsons coming back?
Yes, I do. I think that, of course, I have said this time and time again. I think the world of Mike as an individual, and of course, know him well. And then might say I wish him well, except it's obvious I don't this weekend in terms of Green Bay winning the ball game.
That's interesting because when I'm at Lambeau for a Packers game and I see somebody there in the opposing team's uniform, I look at them and go, it happened with the Washington game. I go, guys, first time at Lambeau? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, listen, I want you to have the greatest time ever. If you have questions, I have answers. I want you to have the greatest experience here in Green Bay and at Lambeau Field you could possibly have, except for when the last second clicks off on the clock. Right. Then I would like it to be awful.
Have a great time here. Go home with a loss.
That's all I want. I wonder how that's going to be in Dallas, by the way. I'm going to be in Packers gear. I went to Vegas. 2 years ago, we were at the Packers Vegas game, Raiders.
Yeah.
That didn't end well.
No.
And then I chased it. I chased the loss and went to the roulette table and tried to get the money back I lost on the Packers game. That didn't work either.
That didn't work, yeah.
Not bad. I wonder how it's going to be in Dallas. I wonder if they have a chip on their shoulder. And that's what I heard Jerry say, Josh, is that he's a little more motivated because Micah Parsons is coming back for this to be a W for the Cowboys. I would like to think that there's a history here with these two teams that we cannot ignore. And last I checked, the Packers kind of, knock on wood, have the upper hand right now. The 90s, not so much.
Yes, they do. And especially the last few games in Jerry World, where you're going. Dallas has not been a house of horrors for the Green Bay Packers. It has been a place where they have played well. And so hopefully that continues to be the case. I will tell you that this whole, I don't know, it feels strange. The vibes of this game feel strange because everything that exists is saying Packers fans should not be worried about this game. They have the upper hand. They are the better team. The Cowboys are struggling. They are dealing with injury. CeeDee Lamb going down, obviously huge. There are a lot of things that would be pumping that out. And yet, I don't know that I'm 100% feeling that.
You don't feel like there's any momentum for us? You feel like we're the underdog in this?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying the confidence that I feel like is oozing, especially nationally and even locally in Dallas, which is that other clip that we played, which, setting up here, I can play again. But
yeah, hit it.
From, they're not necessarily looking forward to this.
I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this could be national blowout. This could be a blowout. You're missing Booker. You're missing Lamb in front of the entire country. Micro revenge. Green Bay's ticked off. They just lost to Cleveland. Just don't let it be too bad. Don't let it get too ugly. Jerry, that's the difference. Well, there's a lot of differences, including the bank account. But Jerry's always glass half full. This is what you live for. This is the spotlight Sunday night. Would you rather be buried in a noon kickoff window or Sunday Night Football? This week for me, I want to be buried.
See, I don't hear that mentality from Packers fans at all. Do you?
What's that? Of they're worried?
I'm not afraid. Right.
Correct. So there's a lot, going through my head here. There's a lot of things making up this opinion. The defensive side of the ball, yeah, they should be scared. The defense is not giving them any reasons. Parsons is coming back. He's going to make a statement. Just the way that the Packers had to go into that game against Cleveland going, Myles Garrett's going to be a beast. You got to look out for him in this defense. Mm-hmm. Cowboys fans got to be the same. But the offensive woes, the offensive line issues, what's going on with the running game, those things that kind of all fell apart in one game against Cleveland doesn't have me going, this is going to be a party on Sunday night. This isn't going to be a football game. This is just going to be a party for Packers fans because it's going to be a blowout on national TV. I can't get with that feeling right now because of the woes I have with our offense. There are questions that aren't answered. If they come back this week against the Cowboys and they crush, the offense comes back, Jacobs goes off, Love is slinging it to 4 or 5 different receivers, and all of that's happening again, then we're back, right? That's the proof I needed that the Cleveland game was a fluke against a really good defense, blah, blah, blah. But as I sit here right now, that's not the case.
Do you have more reason to believe, though, that the Browns game was a fluke in terms of the offense in comparison to how the offense looked in the first 2 games against the Lions and the Commanders? Like, can we spend more time thinking about all of the good from those 2 games and how good the offense did look and just kind of had a turd game against the Browns?
So I thought about that, but there are a few things that go with that. First, even in those first 2 games, it wasn't like the running game was, out of its mind, Josh Jacobs that we saw from last season and that we want. Even in those wins, we still, I think, would agree that we want more Josh Jacobs. And then second, we also didn't have the offensive line issues, did we? In those first 2 games? I mean, I for sure not in the first game, but with Zach Tom being out and the concerns about all of it from the offensive line, those are all things that I can't go back to the first 2 games and go, well, I didn't have to worry about these. I was in a different situation then. And that situation's not back.
What are we concerned about the offensive line? What things are we concerned about the offensive line? All the things. How about all the things?
All of it. Creating the holes for Jacobs, protecting Love, you name it.
Yeah, hopefully, to your point, we can get through that and get over the hump. I think it was a down game.
I'm hoping.
It appears to be. Now, I would like to not have that trend, right? We had reason to believe that the first 2 games were going to be the Packers that we see on the regular, and nobody's perfect. It was a bad game for 38 seconds this past week, and then it went downhill quick, though. I mean, you would agree that was not – we did not feel that way. I didn't feel like it was safe at 10-0.
Oh, I didn't think it was a good game at any point. Way too many penalties. Offense, watching Love get sacked time and time and time again. Offensively, it was a struggle. The only highlight and positive was the defense when they were out there. And they were out there way too much. And that was the problem.
The Nicolay Law fan talking text line 414-677-1250. Bear in Beaver Dam sums this up perfectly. I'm too worried about the Brewers right now to care about the Packers in week 4. So I care, Bear, and you're right. There's a lot going on with the Brewers. Let's hit a few of these other texts before we get to break and come back with What's Up Wisconsin, which is where you get to tell us whatever's going on in your life. What are you most looking forward to today? It can be Wisconsin sports. It can be your family. It can be a party, a concert, comedy club, you name it. Tell us what's up, Wisconsin. That's coming up next. Here's someone in the 239. Brian in Milwaukee. Yeah, I semi-believe you, Brian. Still plenty of room to be optimistic about the Brewers' playoff games. The ball has not been bouncing their way the past couple of weeks. They've been hitting the ball hard, I mentioned that earlier, right at people. Opposing outfielders making plays, and I'd much rather have those things going on against us now, so we will be due and flush with all the bounces in 2 weeks' time.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
100%.
I mentioned that earlier, that I thought Yelly was really on it right now.
Yeah.
He's hitting the ball really hard, and he looks confident at the plate, and I don't know that that's something we can say. As a matter of fact, I think the last 2 years for sure, don't quote me on this, though, the season ended in the playoffs with Yelly taking a strike 3 down the middle of the plate and not swinging. I would like to not see that Yelly in the playoffs this year for sure.
Yep. That hasn't been this team, though.
Brian goes on to say, if this offense was striking out left and right, I'd be far more concerned. The pitching can tighten up just from all the days off in between. You can literally patchwork innings together and go on a deep run because of all the days in between. I don't disagree with that either. Look at that. You know what that is, Josh?
That's optimism.
Yes, it is.
That is what we call optimism. Yes. And all of those points are valid. All of those things could happen. They just haven't yet, but they can.
Jeff from Luxembourg on the Nicolay Law fan talking text line. I think anytime you're a die-hard fan, there's never zero worry or anxiety about a game unless the starters are sitting out. It's the NFL. Anybody can beat anyone at any time.
Yeah, that is true.
That was a big breath for yeah.
I'm a diehard fan. That's it. There's always going to be a little worry out there, a little anxiety. 100%.
I just read why you paused there. Is Brian in Milwaukee about to get Josh's wrath? Brian says, Trevor, you need to understand that Josh also needs absolute video game level perfection from the Packers to be satisfied and calm down, son. I'm turning my mic off for this because you're going to go nuts.
Well, no, first of all, he's not necessarily wrong, but there's so much can happen in a football game. One fumble can change all of it, right? One turnover can change the entire game. So you kind of do have to play the perfect game. You're constantly fighting. And the difference for me and the thing that's frustrating is they did that the first 2 games. The first 2 games of this season, there was not a whole lot to worry about. This Packers team was finding ways to be that team. And it was just such a swing in week 3. It wasn't, okay, they were taking those tests and A+ in weeks 1 and 2, and now they're a B+ in week 3. It was C. It was defense still did well, but offense was awful. And that's big. When that happens, now there are red flags. Now there are things I'm looking at. Now there are things that I'm going to be hyper focusing on against this game in Dallas.
They're going to break it down during 9 to noon with Kuhn. Green Bay Press-Gazette Packers beat writer Ryan Wood will give us his thoughts on the depleted Packers offensive line when he joins 9 to noon with Kuhn this morning at 10 a.m. here on 1250 a.m. and 105.7 FM, The Fan. What's Up Wisconsin is next, and we want to hear what's going on in your world. 414-677-1250. What are you most looking forward to today, tonight, and in your world, whether it's sports related or not? We want to connect with you. The Nicolay Law fan talking text line, 414-677-1250. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sports Book. Inside Wisconsin Sports on your radio live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I love it. Alanis Morissette.
Feeling that one a little bit.
I was. That's great. All right, the Nicolay Law Fan talking text line 414-677-1250. What's up, Wisconsin? What's happening in your world today? Josh, lay out the game times for us about all the things that we as Wisconsin sports fans should be concerned about today.
Yeah, so first things first, what's up, Wisconsin? We want to know what's up. What are you doing the rest of the day? What are you looking forward to? And the first thing you should be looking forward to is the Brewers win their last game on the road of the season against the Padres. 3:10 start, and I think we both know exactly where you should be watching that game. You should be watching it with Sparky.
With Sparky.
At Moe's.
This afternoon. Yeah, Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa. Come hang out, watch the crew, get a W, have a chance to win tickets to see Adam Sandler. It's October 5th at Fiserv Forum. Sparky this afternoon starting at 2 o'clock with the leadoff show and Wisconsin Sports Daily on the road today from Moe's Irish Pub. All right, what else?
Yes, so then after that, if you're following along with the rest of the teams that are trying to get this all cemented, the Reds and the Phillies are both playing at 5:40 and 5:45 respectively, and obviously the Phillies being the big one as we try to find that magic number to the one seed.
To get it to 1 or 0 would be great.
Yes. Would it? Did we decide on that, by the way?
I can't.
Because of the Cubs. You said with the Cubs. Do we
Let's
want?
talk about that again tomorrow.
Okay.
I did it 3 times, and I don't want to get worked up again.
Oh, I love it. And then if you're thinking about the Cubs and you want to see what's going on them, are they going to lose? The Mets and Cubs are on ESPN this evening at 7:05 first pitch. So plenty of baseball to still watch if you are a standings watcher and you're trying to see how everything comes together and is affected, which I love. I love this time of the year with baseball when you have tight races and you get to kind of enjoy those games and teams playing for their lives. It's a long season, 162 games, and sometimes it comes down to the last few, and that's awesome. So that's what you're watching on TV sports-wise tonight.
I am watching for good news about David Fry today. If you missed it, it has nothing to do with Wisconsin sports, but everything to do with how we need to allow other humans have good thoughts and prayers for them when they go down. David Fry, if you missed it last night, took one off the face from Schoolboy.
Yeah.
At 99. It was really hard to watch. I'm not suggesting you look up the video. It wasn't gruesome or anything. You couldn't see any gruesomeness.
Yeah.
But literally, it's the first time I've ever seen an MLB player. We've all seen beans off the face, but never square to the face.
Well, it looked like it was a bunt. Like he was trying to square up for a bunt, and like it barely nicked the bat.
I don't know if it
right
did.
in his
I
face.
think
No,
it literally took it right in the face.
No contact. I did have a question about this, actually. I know this is What's Up Wisconsin. Please, by the way, make sure to text in what you're doing, what you got coming up. We'll get to that in a second after I'm done blabbing. But I was watching that, and obviously you saw the picture immediately. His hat comes off. He's got his hands on his head. Oh, my God.
Yeah, Scooble.
And someone actually commented on the video of this on social media, but my thought was, why is it that when something like that happens, there's an invisible fence that the pitcher can't get close to check on that happening? In football, I feel like if there's a bang play, even if it's just for a second, and someone from the other team is there, you'll see him sometimes like check and then maybe even like call over that team's medical, like, you got to get over here right now. This is a serious. And with baseball, if a pitcher hits a batter, like they gotta compress to that pitcher mound with their emotions. They are not allowed to go to the batter.
Yeah, I think that normally, a normal bean, if that's a thing, that happens, right? That you just move on with the game, whether you tag somebody in the backside or in the back or whatever.
Yeah.
I also think history has proven that not every bean is on accident, and so they probably don't encourage interaction between pitcher and batter. But last night you got to see it because that was not normal and immediately severe. I mean, I remember when the whole thing happened in the NFL and chest compressions started happening last year or 2 years ago now.
A couple years, yeah.
Everybody and their mother was on one knee, and I remember just people holding their face and their helmets.
Yeah, because it's a scary moment, man. They're all out there together.
That's what I think happened last night. I think that was a massively scary moment, and that at the end of the day, there was going to be no good whether the catcher waved people over or the pitcher walked up to him. I mean, Skubal talked after the game last night that he reached out to him, sent him a text, wanted to make sure he was going to be okay. And hopefully today in What's Up Wisconsin here, we see some of that news. I'm most looking forward today, outside of the Wisconsin sports things that we obviously have going on. It is the opening ceremonies for the Ryder Cup today. And I'll have all sorts of incredible flashback memories of me and my buddy Jason going to the Ryder Cup when it was at Whistling Straits. I mentioned to you yesterday, my number one favorite sports moment here in Wisconsin was at game 1 of the NLCS in 2018 when Brandon Woodruff hit a home run off of Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
That, I don't know. I hope that'll be beaten someday, but as of right now, it's nowhere close.
It's a goodie.
Number 2 was watching the Ryder Cup start from the grandstand at Whistling Straits. That energy was not something I've ever experienced before. The people from Europe were there with their chants and their ole oles or whatever that was.
Yep.
And Michael Jordan was there.
Oh.
Now I know Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks, blah, blah, blah.
No, Jordan.
Greatest thing ever.
Listen, I had his the whole outfit. I was a chubby little white kid, 5, 6 years old. I had the shorts. I had the jersey.
Oh.
I had the shoes. I had all of it. I mean, Space Jam, still one of my favorite movies. Jordan was everything. Man.
You're going to love this then. In Cliff Notes version, there was a guy in the front row in front of us with Jordan's Team USA jersey on, okay? Because you wear USA stuff.
Yeah.
The crowd starts chanting, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan sees this guy's jersey, sends somebody over, has the guy take it off, walk back to Jordan. Jordan signs it, and somebody walked it back over.
Incredible.
It was the most amazing thing ever. I cannot imagine. It was so awesome. You know what else is going to be awesome? A Brewers win today, and maybe a Phillies loss. And then we can put all of this number 1 stuff behind us. Let's move on. Let's get to the playoffs. Let's come back home, have some fun with the Reds, and just put it all behind us.
I'd love that.
Is it the worst to ask that we just go on a little bit of a heater here?
That'd be great.
I hate that 500. We would even take, let's just go 500 in the next 4 games. That's annoying that that's a thing, but it's a thing. All right. What else is a thing? We'll be here back tomorrow. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the 12:50 a.m. and 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We will see you tomorrow, Wisconsin, because
we are not done yet.